wish to be warm, Dr. Smith, come into my arms.
Lost in Space is not just a science fiction film. It's an adventure that took 60s audiences to strange worlds. You might remember the Robinson family, the Jupiter 2 spaceship, and their journey drifting among the stars. But few know about the chaotic filmmaking process behind it. A $30 billion spaceship, a live llama that nearly ruined an entire episode.
Let me out of here at once, you despotting dunce! Do you hear me?
Here are 20 weird facts about Lost in Space that you never knew. Will it change your mind about the show? Watch carefully. It's the world behind the world. There's an episode of Lost in Space considered the pinnacle of absurdity, titled The Vegetable Rebellion. In this episode, the Robinson family encounters a sentient carrot named Tybo, a conscious and communicative vegetable creature, creating a hilarious and awkward situation for the main characters. Writer Peter Packer was so embarrassed that he tried to hide the script from actor Jonathan Harris, who played Dr. Smith, fearing that its illogical nature would diminish the show's credibility.
Don't help you. No matter where you fall, we'll take root.
Initially, the production team even planned to use a real llama to portray Tybo, but this plan was abandoned because the animal constantly spit at the actors and crew, causing many problems and delaying production. This incident highlights the unexpected challenges in filmmaking, especially when trying to implement unique script ideas. Some fans believe that the silliness and unacceptability of this episode, with its talking carrot, may have contributed to the show's cancellation, though it still left an unforgettable mark in television history.
You mean you'd rather die than be a tree?
The Jupiter 2, the iconic spaceship that carried the Robinson family into their space adventure, had an astronomical price tag in the fictional world of the show. In the series, the ship was estimated to cost a whopping $30 billion, an unrealistic figure that emphasized its grandeur and advanced technology within the fictional setting. However, the actual cost to build the sets and props for this ship was only $350,000, a striking contrast between the fictional value and the real production cost. This difference demonstrates the filmmaker's ingenuity in creating a believable world on a limited budget, transforming large numbers in the script into impressive visuals on screen. The much lower production cost compared to the in-film value is also a testament to the art of illusion in the film industry. Despite appearing in every episode of Lost in Space and being one of the central characters, actor Jonathan Harris requested a special designation for himself in the show's credits. He requested and was credited as special guest star, a rather unusual request for a regularly appearing actor. Harris believed that this title added credibility and uniqueness to his role as Dr. Smith, helping him stand out among the main cast and affirming the importance of the character he portrayed. This is a testament to Harris's confidence and negotiation skills, as he knew how to turn a supporting role into an unforgettable highlight of the show. This request also shows how actors sometimes seek recognition beyond their roles. In the early 1960s, CBS made a historic decision regarding the science fiction genre, a choice that could have changed the face of television forever. They chose to produce Lost in Space instead of Star Trek, a risky decision as both projects sought network approval. CBS believed that Lost in Space's family-oriented approach and lighter adventure elements would be more marketable to a mass audience, compared to the more complex and philosophical ideas of Star Trek. This decision shaped the path of both shows, with Lost in Space becoming a short-term phenomenon, while Star Trek later found a home on another network and built a much larger cultural universe. This is a classic example of how business decisions can profoundly impact cultural legacies. Have you watched both of these shows? Comment Lost in Space or Star Trek below, and see how many people agree with your show style. Billy Mumie, who played Will Robinson, and Angela Cartwright, who played Penny, had a special relationship on the set of Lost in Space. Their close friendship, built over years of working together on set, developed into a romantic relationship that was innocent yet profound. They were even briefly engaged, which was quite unexpected for two young actors at the time, showing the depth of their emotional bond. Surprisingly, even though the romantic relationship didn't last, they both maintained a close friendship afterward, demonstrating the respect and sincere affection they had for each other. This is considered the first serious romance for both young actors, a sweet story of friendship and budding love in the high-pressure world of Hollywood. This story added a layer of romance and humanity to what happened behind the cameras of this science fiction show.
Oh, cool it, man. Will's a big boy now, and I'm a big girl.
Dr. Zachary Smith, a character who became iconic and an indispensable part of Lost in Space, was initially not in the show's pilot episode. He was not conceived as a long-term character, but was added later to create more conflict and drama for the storyline, adding a disruptive element to the Robinson family's journey. Originally, Smith was envisioned as a one-dimensional villain, simply a troublemaker with the purpose of sabotaging the flight. However, Jonathan Harris transformed this character from a mere antagonist into an unforgettable comedic icon, with a unique combination of timidity, cunning, and sometimes unexpected kindness. The change in Smith's personality created complexity and interest for the show, making audiences both hate and love the character. His becoming an integral part of the crew despite initially being an enemy enriched the story.
Let me out of here at once, you despotic dunce! Do you hear me?
The costume design work for Lost in Space went beyond creating clothes suitable for a science fiction setting, also receiving special recognition from professionals. In 1968, designer Paul Zastavnovich was honored by the Costume Designers Guild for his excellent work, a prestigious award for his contribution to the field. He used silver fabric, metallic materials, and other space-age materials to create unique and impressive costumes, accurately reflecting the spirit of an interstellar adventure. His designs were not only iconic, but also helped shape the aesthetic style of 1960s science fiction films, creating a distinct mark for Lost in Space. One of the unique outer space fashion highlights of Lost in Space is undeniably the robot B9 costume. It was not just a simple prop, but also had an incredible weight and cost. Meticulously designed by Robert Kinoshita, this costume weighed approximately 200 pounds, a massive weight for the actor to carry. To build this complex and bulky costume, the total cost amounted to $70,000, a significant sum at the time, indicating a large investment in the show's visual elements. Stuntman Bob May was chosen to operate the robot because he was the only one who could fit into the cumbersome suit, a task requiring considerable physical strength and patience. And the question arises, how did Bob May manage to control that robot suit? This is another fact that amazes many. Stuntman Bob May, who wore the robot B9 costume, had to perform a unique and challenging maneuver to control the robot, demonstrating his extraordinary dexterity. From inside the heavy and bulky suit, he had to activate the flashing lights on the robot's body by pressing a hidden button with his head. This meant that May not only had to endure the weight and confinement of the suit, but also had to use a body part not typically used to control devices. This detail shows May's cleverness, dedication, and extraordinary effort in this cumbersome role, making him an indispensable part of Robot B9's vitality. It is also a prime example of the technical challenges filmmakers faced in the era before advanced CGI technology. Few voices in classic television are as instantly recognizable as the robot's voice in Lost in Space. The voice of Robot B9, especially with its classic warning phrase, "Danger, Will Robinson," has become iconic and widely recognized in popular culture. Interestingly, Dick Tufeld, who voiced the robot, was also the narrator for the entire show, his voice significantly shaping the atmosphere and style of Lost in Space.
Memory banks indicate Dr. Smith is about to pull a fast one.
He reprised his role as the robot's voice in the 1998 Lost in Space film adaptation, providing continuity and nostalgia for longtime fans. Tufeld's dual role created an invisible link between the robot and the story itself, making his voice familiar and trustworthy to audiences.
Come into my arms.
I'd rather die.
To save production costs and maximize resources, Lost in Space used a unique detail from another famous science fiction show, creating an interesting link between two universes. They reused some pointy ear prosthetics originally created for Star Trek, a show that premiered around the same time and was also looking to optimize its budget. These ears were used for alien designs in Lost in Space, helping to create a distinctive look for extraterrestrial beings without having to invest in creating new molds. This not only demonstrates ingenuity and prop recycling, but also serves as a testament to the subtle connection between science fiction projects in the early days of television. Do these revelations change your perception of Lost in Space? Can a fun science fiction show hide so many unexpected secrets? Think about it, because the drama is still ahead. There's a strange and unresolved inconsistency regarding the launch date of the Jupiter 2 within Lost in Space itself. making it an interesting detail for keen-eyed fans. The pilot episode No Place to Hide records October 16, 1997 as the launch date, marking the beginning of the perilous journey. However, the next episode, The Derelict, states October 21, 1997, just a few days apart but creating a significant inconsistency. This occurs even though both episodes are supposed to take place within the first 24 hours of the mission, making the date discrepancy confusing and illogical. This inconsistency was never resolved or clearly explained throughout the series, becoming a small but intriguing detail for fans, a time Easter egg for which no one found an answer. Billy Mumie, who played Will Robinson, one of the central characters of Lost in Space, made an interesting return to the science fiction genre after his famous role.
Do you have a name?
My name's Will Robinson, sir. And I'm not a toy, I'm a boy.
Oh, nonsense, nonsense.
He appeared as a guest star, Kellen, in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. In 1998, a role that showed his career remained linked to the space genre. Beyond acting, Mumie is also known for his musical talent, being one half of the duo Barnes and Barnes, famous for their eccentric and creative song, Fishheads. Interestingly, while working on Lost in Space, he lived near William Shatner, who played Captain Kirk in Star Trek, creating a coincidental connection between the two science fiction icons. This connection between actors and cinematic universes shows a close-knit community and unexpected relationships behind the screen. The show Lost in Space was not an entirely original idea, but had deep inspiration from literature and comic books, something many fans may not know. It was based on the 1962 comic book Space Family Robinson, a work that laid the foundation for the idea of a family lost in space. This comic book, in turn, was inspired by the classic adventure novel The Swiss Family Robinson, published in 1812, which tells the story of a family shipwrecked and forced to survive on a deserted island. This link shows that Lost in Space transformed a classic survival story from a deserted island setting to outer space. In the original comic book, the Robinson family also had additional characters like a dog and a parrot, loyal companions, but they were not brought to television, perhaps to focus more on the human characters. To create realism and persuasiveness for the Jupiter 2 spaceship, producer Irwin Allen brought real equipment onto the set. He used actual Burroughs B205 computers from the 1950s to 1960s within the set, not just simulated props. Integrating these bulky and complex machines into the Jupiter 2's cockpit gave a very real sense of advanced technology at the time. This helped increase authenticity and provided a high-tech, believable look for the ship, making it easier for audiences to believe in the show's science fiction setting. Allen's decision shows his meticulousness and investment in building a convincing fictional world, even with details that many might overlook. To manage the budget effectively and ensure resources were optimally used, the Lost in Space production team had a unique and intelligent strategy. They regularly recycled props across multiple episodes instead of fabricating new ones entirely for each scene or episode. This method included repainting props, changing the position of items, or making minor adjustments to details to make them look new and different in each appearance. For example, a single scanner, initially designed for one purpose, was used in 3 different episodes with only minor changes in appearance or placement. This not only helped significantly reduce production costs, but also demonstrated the creativity and flexibility of the behind-the-scenes team in dealing with budget constraints. One of the greatest composers in film history made significant contributions to Lost in Space, further enhancing the show's artistic value. John Williams, who later became famous for classic and immortal works such as Star Wars, Jaws, E.T., The Extraterrestrial, and many other films, composed the theme music for Lost in Space when he was just 33 years old. This dramatic and captivating orchestral score not only elevated the show, bringing a sense of grandeur and adventure from the very first seconds, but also clearly reflected his characteristic style. Even at a young age, Williams showed innate talent in creating memorable melodies, helping to shape the musical identity of many classic films. The involvement of a music legend like Williams is a testament to the quality and importance of Lost in Space in television history. The original pilot episode of Lost in Space, titled No Place to Hide, differed significantly from the officially aired version that audiences knew, indicating a completely different initial direction. Surprisingly, in this original version, Dr. Smith and the robot were entirely absent, two characters who later became the soul of the show. In this original version, the Robinson family's journey was interrupted by a random meteor storm, not by Smith's deliberate sabotage, completely changing the context and cause of the story. This original pilot had a much more serious tone than the later series, which gradually shifted to a more humorous and absurd style, showing a completely different initial direction for the producers. The later edition of Smith and the Robot reshaped the entire atmosphere and success of Lost in Space, turning it into a unique work. Guy Williams, who played John Robinson, the family patriarch and leader of the adventure, had a regrettable experience with Hollywood after Lost in Space, leading to deep disappointment. Initially, he thought he was joining a dramatic and serious science fiction series, where his role would be explored for depth and bravery. However, as the show gradually shifted to a humorous and absurd genre and focused more on Dr. Smith and the robot, John Robinson's role became blurred and less noticed. This change left him feeling disillusioned with Hollywood and its filmmaking system, as the show did not follow the initial direction he expected. Afterward, he made the notable decision to retire and move to Argentina, abandoning his acting career to seek a more peaceful life. This is a sad story about unfulfilled expectations in the entertainment industry.
You seem to forget who's in command here. It is I who give the orders. Your job is...
After the resounding success of Lost in Space and establishing its science fiction style, producer Irwin Allen made a meaningful move by returning to the original work that inspired him. He produced a television film titled The Swiss Family Robinson in 1975, which was the classic adventure novel that Lost in Space was inspired by. This film focused on the classic survival elements of a family on a deserted island, staying more faithful to the original story and without science fiction elements. This action by Allen was not only a tribute to the original work, but also showed the diversity in his production capabilities, not limited to the space genre. This was a way for him to re-explore and present a story he loved from a different angle, bringing it to a new generation of audiences. From unexpected script changes to fateful production decisions, Lost in Space is truly a show filled with countless interesting and strange things behind the scenes. Despite many ups and downs, the show made its mark and left an indelible legacy in the hearts of science fiction lovers. We hope you've discovered these weird and completely unexpected things about Lost in Space through this video. If you love film facts like these, don't forget to hit like, share the video, and subscribe to the Weird Film Facts channel so you don't miss other fascinating behind-the-scenes stories. See you in the next video.